Hello and welcome to another edition of Women's World. I'm Florence Jonduo, stepping in for your regular host, Michaelin Moyebasi. We will be highlighting economic empowerment for women in PNG, and we have with us here in the studio special guests, and they are Christina Cheong from the UN Women. She's the Safe City Program Specialist, and she manages the Safe Market projects in Port Moresby. We also have Geraldine Vilakiva, who is the Communications Manager for ANZ PNG, and Kevani Geita. And Kevani Geita, the Customer Advocate for ANZ PNG, and also one of the lead facilitators for ANZ PNG's Money Minded program. Now, welcome to the program. So we'll head straight now into the first focus area for our panel discussion, which is, in your perspective, the organization that you represent. Why do you think economic empowerment for women is important?
So women's economic empowerment is one of numerous areas that we empower women towards a planet that is gender equal. Yet in working towards a sustainable future, we want men and women to have equal rights and equal opportunities. So definitely empowering women in the economic aspect is one of the important areas in working towards gender equality. So women's economic empowerment also empowers women to be independent, to be able to make decisions about their pursuits and their future, and also to enable them to pursue opportunities and aspirations to enable them to live a life that is of their choosing and of their aspirations.
We'll have Geraldine from ANZ.
So for us at ANZ, empowering of women and girls, economic empowerment of women is important because because for women and girls, it is important that when we provide them the right resources, the tools and the skills, they can be able to make better decisions, and these decisions will help to improve their livelihoods as well as of their families and communities, and the nation as a whole. So it is one of a vital topic, and we support that at the bank. Yeah.
So Kevani, what are your thoughts on this?
Once you educate a woman, you also educate her household, her community that she lives in, and the country as a whole. It's also about allowing people to make the right choices for themselves, and me as a person also adding value to them and also making a difference.
From your organization, what are some of the empowering initiatives, services, programs, or tools that you have in place to provide or enhance the economic status of women in our country?
Okay. So with ANZ, we have the Money Minded program. This program was developed in 2003 in Australia first. What happened was they did a research on the Aborigines in their communities, and they found out that there were socioeconomic related issues, so to do with alcohol abuse, gender violence, domestic violence in itself as well, suicide. So they decided that with the Money Minded program, it should be able to add value and also help to build the community, bring it back to positivity. With that, having rolled out that program in developed the program in 2003, they saw that it was really, it was working really well. So they decided to roll it out to the rest of ANZ globally. So in PNG and the rest of the Pacific, it was rolled out in 2010, if I can remember. And it's gone miles. Most of us at ANZ who are facilitators, we have our day-to-day jobs, but we do this with, it's part of our voluntary, and it's also for the bank itself as a corporate responsibility. So we go out and we do these programs. We do the Money Minded, the program itself. There's a savings culture program, and there's also the small business program. So it's part of us going out there, adding value to the community and see that we also do make a difference, make a change in someone else's life.
What are some of the things that you do when you go out into communities to roll out the Money-Minded program?
So what we do is we have an agreement with some of the communities that we go out to. They actually contact us, and the communications team come and they see our pool of facilitators that we have there. So we go out and it's a day program. It depends on which community it is. So if I fly out to, say, Kokopo, I can do a program in one day in a community, the next day in another community. So it's nothing to do with the bank's products. It's solely about the participants themselves. So we can sit down and we can facilitate to, say, 400 participants in a hall. So it doesn't have to be somewhere high end. It can be under a tree. But we do ensure that the people that we facilitate to, they're comfortable, because it's all about them. So there's nothing to do with any products or what. It's just about the Money-Minded program.
So when you're out there on location, what can you say about the turnout? Are there more men or women, or what from your observation?
Well, we have women, but we do also have men that come. We've had instances where we've traveled out to places where women have brought along their husbands. Because sometimes, men, they feel that if a woman's attending a workshop, they sort of have this, we had one at Quikila where a woman only attended the workshop provided the husband was outside there, because she really wanted to know what we were there for. Because men feel infuriated if a woman is going to do a workshop, or say, "Mem like save blonga, mem like guanta plomania yet," So you have that kind of thing, and they bring their husbands in there, and then you find that they're working together. It's real. It's all about them. So they talk about how they get angry at each other for financial situations. They get angry at each other, but you find that when you bring them in together, when they bring their husbands, the husband brings the wife. It's not about saying that you don't have any money and that's it for you. It's when they attend this program, it's not the end of it. People come in and they realize that, they take a stock of what their failures are, and they decide to work it out together. So for me personally, I've seen it as a program for change. It's about money, but sometimes people use it to change themselves personally. So if there's a husband there that's always beating up his wife and angry at her for this and that, they're able to step back and say, I did the wrong thing, and I'm not a bad person after all. I can always make a change. So that's what Money-Minded is all about. It's about changing mindsets. It's about, like I always said from the beginning, it's about adding value, and it's about making a difference.
So we'll come to Christina now. Could you tell us about some of the programs or services that the UN Women provides under the Safe Cities program?
Definitely. So I'm going to focus primarily on safe cities. And we are running our project in close partnership with the NCDC at 3 different markets in Port Moresby. And so this program tries to take a very comprehensive and holistic approach to making markets safer and more empowering for women and girls. So one of the things we do in this project is policy and advocacy. So we've worked together with Markets Division in NCDC to develop a gender-friendly, gender-sensitive market policy. It hasn't been finalized yet, but it's really close to adoption by the NCDC, and this has been developed also with a lot of inputs from the women vendors at the markets to take into consideration their feelings of safety and also their ideas of what can make the market a more empowering space for them. We also built the capacity of the market security, market controllers, and also the market vendors themselves through this project. So in enhancing the capacity of the market controllers to manage the market, crowd control and vendors management, it enables them to keep order and to maintain the markets in a better condition. The vendors themselves are also organized into associations, and this enables them to represent their needs, their concerns to the authorities. So as an individual, sometimes they feel when they encounter difficulties or challenges, they don't know where to go for help. But as a collective, as an association, they now understand the different mechanisms, the different avenues. They can represent their needs to the authorities. So that's another way that they have been empowered. So this project works very closely with the market vendors, and we're often in the markets with them. And there have been numerous trainings that have been organized over the years that the project has been implemented. And this includes financial literacy training in a very direct form of women's economic empowerment. We've also done safe food handling trainings and other trainings like the basics of setting up a small business, the different accounting and access to financial services. And last year, in response to a lot of the vendors and also the banks' desire to get to know each other, and also the vendors were telling us that although they were curious about financial services, they were hesitant to approach banks because the banks are scary. So we organized a massive bank fair where we invited all the financial institutions in Port Moresby to participate, and many of them did. We set up 2 days of a bank fair at Gordon's and Koki Market, and over 800 vendors and their relatives accessed the bank fair and came to set up bank accounts or make inquiries about other services that they were keen on. So those are some of the examples of the work we are doing at the markets.
She talked about financial literacy, and we know under the money-minded program and some other programs that you have, you also run financial literacy classes for women to help them with their savings and all that. Could you tell us a little bit about that?
So as Kevani mentioned, our money-minded program was introduced in 2010. From 2010 till current, we have facilitated the financial literacy program to over 10,000 participants. Around 60% of them are females. And so we facilitated to both in the corporate organizations and communities such as women's and youth groups. For financial year 2016 alone, we facilitated to 3,000 participants. Around 53% were female, so we've seen an increase in the number of especially women that are coming in to attend these trainings that we do. So we're looking at improving the figures in this year. I think from the participants who attended the training, they've gained more control over the money, financial. Also, we've seen a lot of increase in confidence in how they manage their money, and also higher savings culture that's taking place.
So if we're talking about the ice block seller, so we're talking about compliance taxes, and she said to me, "You're telling me about, growing my business and all that, but I'm just an ice block seller and you're telling me about the taxes. I don't pay taxes. So I posed the question back to her. So are you going to be an ice block seller for the rest of your life? Wouldn't you want to own a shop? And I'm already giving you the awareness that when you do come to that stage, you're a successful shop owner and that you're distributing your ice block to the other provinces. You'd already know how to manage yourself. You already know what taxes to pay, and that kind of compliance thing. So that's what we do. It's about seeing who you're going to facilitate to and making it it's getting them to teaching it the way that they feel comfortable in, making it comfortable for them and they can receive the information that they want to hear.
How do you go about? Do you have a selection process for participants who will be part of the programs that you run, or how do you go about in arranging that?
So what we do is, so normally we facilitate these programs to communities and organizations that want us to. So what they do is, if you're interested, you send us an email or you call us and let us know. And then we check our facilitators to see who will be available. So we not just have facilitators in Port Moresby, but we have facilitators or volunteer facilitators who are staff members in our various branches outside of Port Moresby as well. So if we have interest from groups or communities outside of Port Moresby, we have facilitators there who are staff members who can go and provide these trainings. What they do is they write or show their interest, and then we can go on from there to organize the trainings.
I'll go now to some of the obstacles, like when you go out and carry out your duties. What are some of the obstacles that you see hindering the economic empowerment of women in our country? Maybe we'll start with Christina.
Sure. Yeah, so one of the things we've found at the market is that the women are very busy. They have a lot of duties and they carry out a lot of unpaid work. So this includes taking care of children, taking care of the aged, the sick, running errands for the family, taking care of the family. And so a lot of these duties are often taking place at different times of the day, and it's very challenging trying to organize for a whole group of them to come for trainings at the same time. So this is one of the challenges we've found. And also that generally the women seem to find that financial matters or maybe access to financial services is something that should be determined by the men. And so, for example, for the bank fair that we organized, many of the women at the markets chose not to come and make inquiries, and instead we found many of their husbands came to set up bank accounts for them and came to make inquiries for them. So reaching out to the women to bring the message that this is also important for you, this is also an activity that you can be directly involved in and would benefit not just yourself but your whole family is one of the challenges we're facing in bringing economic empowerment to the women. Yeah.
So do you have any solutions in mind that you think would address this?
We don't have a high-tech innovative solution, but we do work very closely with the vendors, and through regular interactions with them, we are working towards improving their awareness and changing the mindsets towards accessing financial training and services.
We'll go to Kevani. What are some of the obstacles that you see that are causing hindrance to Papua New Guinean women in terms of empowering themselves economically?
I agree with what Christine said. Most of it is to do with in our PNG society. We look at a man as someone who takes care of the finances. So women feel it's to do with respect. So they always have to go back to their husbands to find out that it's okay for them to attend a workshop like a money-minded program or any other workshop that the other banks are running. They need to get that reassurance first before they attend. So I think that's one of the main hindrances that we come across. But we also find out that it's a thing in the family. Okay, if they both talk to each other and they support each other, then they'll be able to attend the workshop. But when they don't talk to each other and they don't support each other in building a better life for their families, there is a hindrance there. So it's all about making choices for yourself.
I think having access to the right information that will help them to make better choices, whether to go and attend a money-minded session or approach a bank for information. I think it all comes back to being able to access the right information. That, I believe, will help them to make good choices about what they want to do with themselves or with their lives. Yeah.
I think it's just to re-emphasize this point that we have all very passingly mentioned, but that women's economic empowerment empowers the whole family. And it has been shown that when women have access to more finances, the children benefit and the family benefits, and in return the society benefits. And so this is definitely an important development area for the whole nation.
We have a committee in the bank. It's called Banking on Women. So I think it's more or less to do with empowering women in the workplace. So it's like you educate a child in your home. It's like that we do at ANZ. So we have that program where women do come. We are involved in that program, and it empowers us to. It's about, like I said, it's about making choices. It's about supporting each other. So if you have a husband that supports you, it'll take you places. If you two agree on the same thing, if you don't agree with the same thing, you won't be able to empower the other person.
Okay, thank you very much, Christina, Geraldine, and Kevani, for making your time available to be here with us in the studio. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Florence.
That brings us to the end of this edition. Join us next time as we feature sexual and reproductive health and empowering youth and adolescents. If you have a story to contribute, feel free to get in contact with us at womensworld@mtv.com.pg, or you can also watch other editions in this season on MTV Online. Go to www.mtv.com.pg or visit our Facebook page. It is also available for your listening on FM 100. Until next time, take care.